Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all doing well and appreciate you tuning into this video. Today we're going to be talking about several different cases. I'm going to be talking about one of the most bizarre disappearances of a hunter. Before we get started with that, I wanted to talk about a couple of recent cases I've been following and several of you brought to my attention. The disappearance of Mackenzie Barker, who disappeared here in Virginia in the Shenandoah area on Thanksgiving. Thankfully, she was found safe. There wasn't really any more information released about what had happened. Thankfully, she's home safe and back with her family, and that's ultimately always what we want to see. The next case is out of Texas. A couple by the name of Charles and Linda Lightfoot have not been seen since Thanksgiving Day, November 27, 2025. They were last seen leaving the city of Panhandle to return to where they lived in the town of Lubbock, Texas. I'm going to have various maps up to show you. Here is the couple, Linda and Gary Lightfoot. They're both in their early 80s. Gary is dependent on oxygen. He usually travels with an oxygen tank. Gary was last seen wearing a gray sweater and black sweats. He is 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighs about 197 pounds. Linda was last seen wearing a black and white blouse, a bulky silver necklace, and dark pants. She is roughly 5 foot 3 inches tall and weighs around 128 pounds. They are believed to be traveling in a silver 2024 Toyota Camry with Texas license plates TWN0925. Their vehicle was first spotted in Groom, Texas around 7 p.m. on November 27th. Then it was seen on Friday in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. I'm going to have a map to show you. On Sunday, November 30th, the authorities in Texas issued a silver alert for Linda and Gary Lightfoot after the Texas Department of Public Safety got involved in this ongoing search. Here's a map I made to show the sightings, the intended destination. So the gray dot in the middle, that's where they left. Then they were seen at 7 p.m. on November 27th in Groom, Texas. That's the A. The last sighting was letter B, early a.m. November 29th in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. It's also worth noting there was a sighting on Friday the 28th in Santa Rosa, New Mexico as well. Apparently the authorities saw them, but for some reason weren't able to identify the vehicle or catch up to them. It didn't say, it just said they weren't able to locate them. Here's the satellite map. As you can see, the gray dot up at top is where they started at. A is where Groom, Texas is, and then there's all the various different routes that could get down to C, which is Lubbock, Texas, where their home is and where their intended destination was. There are numerous agencies involved in this investigation, from the Texas Rangers, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Carson County Sheriff's Office. They've had all kinds of patrol cars out. They've been using drones, helicopters. If you have any information or think you may have seen the couple, please contact the Carson County Sheriff's Office at 806-537-3511. I'll of course have all that information and more in the description. Hopefully by the time this video posts, the couple will have been found. They'll be home safe. Unfortunately, they are still missing at the time of this recording, and they both do need medical attention. They do need oxygen and other medication. If you do have any information, please call 806-537-3511. Please circulate this video or share their story with as many people as you can, especially if you're in the Texas or New Mexico area. My thoughts and prayers go out to both Gary and Linda Lightfoot, their family, their friends. I hope and pray they are found safe soon, and hopefully they're found by the time this video posts. If not, hopefully they've checked into a hotel somewhere, or maybe even a hospital that just hasn't been checked yet. Either way, I hope they are safe, and I hope they are found and brought back to their families soon. Now we're going to be talking about one of the most bizarre and unsettling disappearances that I've ever covered. Siberian village, Russia, December 1997. This is in Eastern Siberia, extremely cold. As you can see on these maps, it's in the very eastern part of Russia. Many of the towns are very small, including this one. It's a village of roughly 200 people. At the time, it had an estimated population of 190. The maps outline this area of Siberia. These actual villages are very small. Here's a picture of this particular village. It sits down in this valley. It's surrounded by huge massive forests, mountains. It's extremely cold. Here's some more pictures to give you an idea of what it looks like and what you'd be up against if you were living there. This man by the name of Alexander Markov, this is a picture of him, that's him there on the right. A young man at the time, he was living in this village. He had various camps outside the village. He was a hunter. He was also a fisherman. He was a very skilled outdoorsman. He had been living there for years. He was well known. On this particular day in December of 1997, he was out on a boar hunt. He was trekking through the dense forest. It was, of course, very cold. There was snow on the ground. He hadn't seen any boar yet. He came upon something that was very disturbing. He couldn't quite tell. When he came around the corner, he could tell that it was a Siberian tiger that had just killed a boar. The Siberian tiger is one of the most feared, if not the most feared animal in the area. It was just sitting there, sort of brushing its teeth against a tree. It then turned and locked eyes with Markov. At this point, Alexander knew he was in serious trouble. The tiger would, of course, feel a sense of threat for the boar that he had just recently taken down. Markov knew he had only seconds to really make a decision. Having lived in Siberia for most of his life, he was very familiar with the habits of the Siberian tiger. He knew the tiger would see himself, Markov, as a threat to his meal that the tiger had just gotten. Markov took his shot. He wounded the tiger. The tiger ran off into the forest. Markov left the area thinking that he had narrowly escaped what could have been a horrible situation. He went on his way, went to various other parts of the forests and mountains. However, Alexander Markov was never seen again. The people of the Slobodnya village in Russia immediately noticed his absence because these villages are so small. They sent a couple of very skilled hunters out to some of his camps that he was supposed to go out to a couple days prior. These hunters went around. They searched through the various woods, mountain areas, some of the camps that Markov had told some of his buddies that he was planning on hunting at. They couldn't find him. Then they went over and met up with some of the dog sled teams and some other people that had snowmobiles in the area. The mushers they encountered told these hunters that it was very unusual for Markov not to have passed through this area. This is when they went back to his main area of residence where he had his main camp. They came upon this site. It was totally broken apart. Markov had been very skilled and he had built this camp up very well over the years. These hunters were very shocked when they came upon this scene. Not only because everything was broken in a shambles, they saw what appeared to be blood and tiger fur stuck to the trees. This is when they rushed out and called the Russian investigators. These are actual clips and pictures when the Russian investigators got there. That's his main cabin that you can see there in the distance. These are other various portions of his camp that he had set up over the years. The investigators immediately noticed blood on the ground. They noticed blood on various trees and other things that were extremely unsettling. These are all pictures from the actual investigation. They found a bunch of tiger hair stuck to the trees, so they knew this was a tiger attack. Upon further investigation of the campsite, they saw very bizarre things, clothing, tatters all over the place, but absolutely no sign of Markov's body. This is just a picture of some blood that was on one of the tree stumps near his camp. There were tiger paw prints all over the place. They found his clothes, which of course were all in tatters, but there was absolutely no sign of Markov. The clothes did have some blood on them. They were all shredded up. No sign of Alexander. They brought in one of their Siberian tiger experts. This is the part that is just absolutely unbelievable. What they realized was, not only was this the same tiger that Alexander had shot during his encounter with his Siberian tiger several days prior, when the tiger had taken down the boar and Alexander just happened to come upon the trail at that time. This tiger had tracked Alexander's scent back to his campsite, which was roughly 11 miles. Then it waited there for roughly 48 hours for Markov to return to the campsite. Upon his return, the tiger sprung on him. He didn't just kill Markov, he ate everything. Not only that, the tiger systematically went through the campsite and destroyed or took away anything that had Markov's scent on it. These are all pictures from the Russian investigators. They were able to piece this all together. They had never seen anything like this before. Once they had collected all the evidence and were able to track Markov's movements as well as the tiger's, they just could not believe it. They tracked it all back to the spot where Markov and the tiger had originally locked eyes with the boar. The tiger, after being shot by Markov, literally tracked Markov down over the course of 11 miles and then waited there for 48 hours or more. They're not really sure. It was at least 2 days. During the investigation, before they had gone after the tiger, these are pictures looking into the woods. These guys were all very experienced hunters. They had lived in the Siberian wilderness for a long time. That said, before they caught up with the tiger, they were scared. They knew that this tiger had killed out of revenge. These are pictures looking into the woods from Markov's camp. They said that they felt like they were being watched. And they said even after they hunted down the tiger, looking into those eyes, even then, you would be afraid. It's definitely something that the residents of Sablonia Village, Russia will never forget. Researchers for years have been studying these large apex predators, not only tigers, other large predators. They say they have determined that sometimes these predators will develop a certain grudge against a particular person, especially if they have come in between a food source or injured the animal. People that knew Markov and knew of the situation knew that Markov very well knew that when he came across that boar and the tiger, he needed to take action. However, it's thought that because he made it home after almost 3 days not seeing this tiger, Markov probably thought he had made it out of this situation okay. Little did he know this tiger was lying in wait. Learning and reading about this case literally gave me chills. It's a reminder, though, that Mother Nature is out there and it can be dangerous. No matter how technologically smart and advanced we are, Mother Nature will always be there. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely leave me some comments. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for all your support, your feedback, your comments. I really appreciate all of you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, welcome and thank you for your support. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. As always, I really appreciate all your support, your comments, your feedback. I'm still interested to hear if you all would be interested in me doing a 2026 calendar. If I get a few more people that are interested, I'll start making them, and what I'll do is I'll do a giveaway for 2 calendars starting in December. So let me know if you're interested in something like that. Please just leave me a comment. If you have any video or case suggestions, also please leave me a comment. I'm always working on and trying to stay on top of current cases. You guys are a huge help to that though, because I'm often working on one case and you all bring another case to my attention, so I really appreciate that. You all are amazing, and even if I don't respond to your comment, it doesn't mean I didn't read it or don't appreciate it, and I thank you so much for all of your support. If you have any suggestions for me, I love any type of feedback. Please reach out. If you have any ideas on giveaways or anything you'd like to see on the channel, please definitely let me know. I'm currently working on 1 cold case video and 1 case that happened this year that's still unsolved. As I said though, if you guys have any cases that are happening in your area, there's oftentimes I don't hear them, so please let me know and I will try and cover it. Alright everyone, have a great day. See you in the next one.